Hello and good evening, each and every one of you crypto watchers all over the continent of Africa and in the world. My name is Stone, and you are watching Empire Crypto TV, and welcome.
A pivotal moment as the US and European allies try desperately to defuse the situation through diplomacy. Russia continues to fling accusations of military action by Kiev against the separatist regions in Ukraine.
Putin came into this crisis putting out demands that he knew that Ukraine, NATO, and the United States could not meet.
Russian state media accused the Ukrainian military of shelling separatist areas of the Donbass. In response to the tensions, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken changed plans in order to talk at the United Nations.
We've been warning the Ukrainian government of all that is coming. And here today, we are laying it out in great detail with the hope that by sharing what we know with the world, we can influence Russia to abandon the path of war and choose a different path while there's still time.
President Biden also cut short his visit to Ohio in part due to the situation in Ukraine.
The reason they tell me I've got to head out, I hadn't planned on going immediately, is because the weather going back to Washington. And there's a little thing going on in Europe right now.
Financial markets reacted to the tensions as well. The ruble weakened against the dollar, and European stocks saw small drops.
We've been in this slippery slope of going downward in terms of just normal diplomatic conduct now for several years. This is just the latest chapter in that very sad story.
A denial of service attack disrupted Ukrainian government websites earlier in the week, which also raised the level of concern in the country of a potential attack.
The first thing that is going to be the leading edge of an attack is going to be cyber. So think of what happened yesterday as a bit of a warm-up there. I continue to think it's a 3 in 4 chance that Putin will end up going forward with an invasion.
Well, as we heard it from the people themselves, Putin could go out ahead with an invasion. To think of it, this is a very tricky situation that is happening up in the West, up in Europe, and it is affecting the global markets. As you heard, the final gentleman that he has brought out the statement that the ruble has also plummeted in terms of because of this crisis that is about to unfold or is going to be prevented from being unfolded. It depends whether the diplomatic talks that are being conducted in the Kremlin will have some sort of effect, and hopefully people get out of the idea that we could be having or heading for a war. For a war zone, which is something that everyone doesn't want at this point in time. Even the market itself, even the cryptocurrency itself, it was affected in such a bad way because it took a heavy hit in the last day or so. Even yesterday, I have a breakout, a bearish breakout. Before this, there was a support and resistance in between $41,000 up to something like $44,000, just below $45,000. But all of a sudden, all of that is lost because of this rumors of wars that are happening between Ukraine and Russia. But to further understand the conflict, you must understand the parties that are involved. Who is NATO? What is happening? Why is it Russia? Because Russia is right next to Ukraine, and Vladimir Putin is trying to cover up that spot. But let's try and also see other articles, what they are saying about this, because we thought that there could be talks of peace, but there weren't there is no certainty because eventually, a small village has been attacked in the Ukraine border. Okay, there's an article that came out that says Russia-Ukraine crisis live updates as per U.S. estimates. Russia may have amassed up to 190,000 personnel near Ukraine borders. Now, that's a higher number than what it was before, because the article continues to say Russia-Ukraine crisis. The U.S. now estimates that Russia probably has amassed between 169,000 to 190,000 soldiers just by the Ukraine borders, personnel in and near Ukraine up from 100,000. So there is more soldiers coming in than soldiers having to leave. Because there was a story that, okay, Putin said that, he will not attack the Ukraine, but you hear articles that are coming out now. They are saying a different story with this situation. The reports say that he added more 100,000 troops on January 30th, just a month ago, or almost a month ago, said Michael Carpenter, the permanent U.S. representative to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, in addition to troops along the border in the neighboring Belarus and Crimea. He said the estimates include Russian-led forces in eastern Ukraine and also internal security units deployed to these areas. It was unclear if these forces were included in the most recent estimate of 150,000 troops. So, global investors, global traders are quite skeptic of what is happening in Ukraine, because also the news came out on Wall Street is struggling to make decisions, amongst investors, among traders. Remember now, when you talk about Wall Street, in Manhattan, United States, New York, you're talking about the financial center of the world having to have that standstill because of what's happening in the Ukraine border. I've been following these stories for the whole week now, and this is the latest that has come forth. Wall Street struggles for direction as Ukraine worries lingers. So there are worries. So you have this thing of traders not participating or investors. You'll end up with that sideways trend, that uncertainty. But this is fundamentally speaking. There is no, even the US stock here right there on the corner is taking a knock with the red signs that's showing that the market is having a bearish market at this point in time. Not only just the crypto market, but also the US 500, Dow Jones, S&P 500, and also other cryptocurrencies as well. US stocks struggled for direction on Friday as investors kept a wary eye on building tensions in Ukraine heading into a long weekend. So